Fear of commitment. That's what we're talking about today, right? This is not a
now,
workshop.
Pardon me for like a half a minute because I have to share because I'm banned from going live for 29 days.
All right, we got to do this stuff.
And the other thing I want to say is this is actually going to go out to our database, so it's not as it's a little more consumer based, and don't take it, keep it 5 minutes or so.
We're gonna be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't usually do 20 minutes. All right, fine. We'll do 5 minutes. I'm good at being short and sweet.
This is going out to our database. We're going to email this out. This is a message we feel is super important.
We're going to electronically mail it to people. Okay. We're going to use technology. Okay. We can do that. Fear of commitment.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. It boils down to fear of commitment. It's what it is. Not sure you're right for me. Just let me know when you're done doing the thing.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
I'm a woman. We can multitask.
That is correct. So, you meet with a real estate agent. They present you with paperwork, and the paperwork includes things like, well, in our market, maybe lead-based paint, anti discrimination, pro fair housing disclosures, an agency disclosure, and something that might be known as an exclusive right to represent. And you don't really want to sign the exclusive because it creates commitment. This is now your agent and they own you, right? That's what you're afraid of. Now you're stuck with this agent and you start sounding like my dog in the next room. You are stuck with this agent, right? You're distressed because you're stuck with the agent. And the agent owns you. And that is the backwards way of looking at it. You hearing this?
I hear him.
Yeah? That's a 80-pound German Shepherd that wants to join the play. All right. So here's why you're wrong. This is why when an agent presents you with paperwork, you should read it. But if this person's good enough to unlock the door for you, advise you on what you should offer, help you with negotiations, etc., they're good enough to hire, because that's all that paperwork does. An exclusive right to represent hires the agent without a dime of financial money changing hands, right? Without a financial event. And it holds that agent to the highest standard of advocacy under
the F
law.
word. The F word.
Fiduciary. Yes, the agent becomes your fiduciary. And what is a fiduciary? It is someone whose job is to advocate for you ahead of their own interests. They have an obligation of confidentiality, of obedience, of loyalty, of a whole bunch of other things, accounting, disclosure. And it is the same level of service, of responsibility that your CPA, your doctor, your lawyer, and your financial advisor all have. They all have the same obligations of disclosure and loyalty, etc. All right.
I was going to say, not even just disclosure. In this market, you need someone who's truly going to turn over every rock. You need for them to be reaching out to for sale by owners. You need them to be finding expired listings. Because I know every buyer or every human being I know now doesn't have that extra time. Everybody's just crazy and busy. And it takes a lot of work to find property in this market.
A lot of work. What's Ferris Bueller say? Right? Life moves fast. Right? Life moves fast, especially, that was in the 80s. Right? So why you should not be worried about the agent owning you is that it's the other way around. You now control the agent. You have a piece of paper that holds this agent and brokerage to the highest standard of responsibility that we just described, right?
And the leverage is their license. Falling short of these responsibilities puts an agent's license in jeopardy. I
Right.
always laugh when people will make certain assumptions, and I'm like, I don't know a single broker that would put their license in jeopardy for many of the things that the public would assume.
Mhm.
Most agents have put their, not most, but productive agents have put their heart and soul into their careers, and they're, risking their license just isn't worth it for
And a
anything.
productive agent is really the only type of agent that would probably present you with paperwork, because that means they've got their act together.
Exactly. So yeah, you just assuming, well, the last person didn't have me sign anything, but now you know why you're with a new person.
Yes, exactly.
And
Exactly.
what if you went to the doctor or the attorney and they just like, you don't have to fill out the paperwork today. It's all good. We'll just wing it.
Exactly. So when you go to a doctor, when you go to an attorney, when you go to any one of these people who are fiduciaries, they what's the first thing they do? They hand you a bunch of forms, and you're signing away, and you're like, well, I have a 10:30 appointment. I got here at 10:30, and you're having me sign papers. That is correct. That is correct. You have to sign things in order to have us help you, in order to have the doctor examine you, in order to have the lawyer review your case, blah, 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 right? It is the same thing in real estate. Now, there are the people who are going to say, well, you stop comparing yourselves to doctors and lawyers. You didn't go to law school. You didn't go to medical school. Yeah, no kidding. Although some of us did go to law school. No kidding. We didn't go to law school. Yeah, we know that. But we also are the shepherds of the largest financial event of most people's lives. And it is well documented how badly a life can be ruined by terrible mistakes born of poor brokering, right? So when you sign that exclusive right to represent, you now have leverage over that agent that you did not possess before, because you have a written contract stating that they are your advocate. They work for you. And if they break that, guess what? You can now tear it up, because guess what? They fired themselves. This can be canceled.
Absolutely.
Now, it can't be canceled because you walked into a for sale by owner and you don't feel like calling your agent. It can be canceled because the agent got you to sign a paper and then they disappeared, or that they didn't follow your instructions, or they did some other thing that caused them to breach their fiduciary responsibility. And I don't know any agent that really wants to do that. Certainly not in our brand.
No.
Don't be afraid of commitment.
Don't be afraid of commitment.
Commitment is what will get you the best possible service from an agent. The public thinks that we want you to sign the paper because then we own you, and whatever you do, we're going to get paid on, and so on and so forth. Yeah, there is a commitment. There is a responsibility on your end to work with the agent. Yes, it's not hard. Hey, Jen, this is Phil. I saw for sale by owner. Here's the address. Here's a picture of the sign I texted you. Let's go look at it. That's not hard.
Nope. And honestly, most for sale by owners, I don't think I've ever dealt with a for sale by owner that wasn't willing to pay a buyer agent commission. Pretty much every single one is.
What did we find out when we were doing boot camp and training? And I started calling for sale by owners live. Not one of them was uncivil.
Nope.
Not one of them was in the least bit annoyed to hear from me. Not one of them was like, oh, go away. You know what they were like? They were like their own listing agents who were handling an open listing. And they all were like, well, if we weren't under contract, or if you have a buyer, yeah, sure, bring them.
Yep. And honestly, most for sale by owners end up listing with an agent. So
9 out of 10.
All right, so let's wrap up, because this is going out.
Don't be afraid of commitment. Commitment makes the agent yours.
Yeah, it gets results.
Not the other way around.
That agent needs to be incentivized to do the difficult work. If you only knew what it takes to be a buyer agent, you take your personal time, your family time, all kinds of things, especially in this type of market. And so, and then just like Phil said, that's your leverage. That's your leverage to make sure that you have somebody who is truly representing you in your most important transaction. All right. So wasn't totally unscripted, but necessary.
It was unscripted enough.
Everyone have a fantastic day.